Okay, now I have one question that came in on email that I wanted to go over this week. It's growing grass on a hillside, so it's kind of important to talk about. This one's something that's actually come up on YouTube this week that I'll point you to. But this one comes from Brian, and Brian is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he says, Alan, I wanted to get some advice and maybe start up a conversation regarding a lawn restoration I'm about to attempt. I'm a U.S. Marine that just purchased my first house outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. This house has it all except the epic lawn that I have always wanted to achieve. The main issue being that the front lawn lays on a slope of hard clay. And when I say slope, it's a bit steep, but I can still mow it without the wheels sliding or it becoming a safety issue. The previous homeowner failed in getting grass to stay put over the years. I think he just let it go, and eventually it washed away, and now there is more weeds than grass. Now, I'm going to skip because he talks about some different treatments he's been doing, liquid, he's been doing some fertilizer, he took soil samples, all good things. He's getting prepared, he's been doing some things. And he says here, however, as I have been watching things closely out there, I wonder if I have been wasting money, wondering if granular products in particular are just washing off the slope, if the nutrients are even remaining in the soil at the top of the incline. So that's the first question is stuff just washing off? Now, the second piece he says is there's no real good information out there on doing what everyone else is doing, but on an incline, and I want to set this up for success instead of a trial and error type situation. Would hate to spend hundreds of dollars seeding the slope and have it all end up washing into the gutter. I have nothing to show for past year's efforts. I am open to any and all suggestions, even a change in turf seed that you think might be better for this situation. I enjoy the videos and your relentless pursuit of an epic lawn that is the envy of everyone in the neighborhood. Keep up the good work and stay motivated, Brian. Brian, congratulations, Marine. Congratulations on your house, my brother. Two things that he's got going on here. The first thing is, generally speaking, he's applying products with this slope, and he's wondering, hey, what's going on there? What's happening with those? And then the second thing is he's going to have to seed the slope itself. Seems like he's got grass up top and down below maybe, but the slope itself, the hill itself, doesn't have grass. It's just weeds because that's a tough thing. So I want to think about it before we break that down, because I got an example you can look at this week. But the first key is that he said the slope is manageable and it can be mowed. And thank you, Brian, for pointing that out, because that's an extremely smart point. If you can't mow it, you don't grow grass there. So he can mow it, so he can grow grass there. If you have a slope that's so steep that you can't mow it safely or properly or consistently, you cannot get a good cut on it, then I would recommend you maybe put in some retaining walls and try to flatten it out and stair step it. Or don't grow grass. So I just wanted to point that out. The first thing Brian realizes is he can mow it, so good, we can move forward. So when we look at this and break this down, the first thing is, am I wasting my money fertilizing? So if you guys go to Jake the Lawn Kid's channel, Jake the Lawn Kid is my buddy, who's my neighbor up there in Northwest Indiana. We have a project lawn that we were working on, but I dumped it off on him just because I can't be up there all the time, and said, all right, Jake, this is all up to you, buddy. And he took care of it. Now, the last time we were there, we applied pre-emergent, and we also applied some Milorganite, which is a fertilizer product. But the thing is, if you guys remember, the project lawn has a steep slope in the front. Barely able to mow it. Like the homeowner, when he first started mowing, he said, I kind of felt a little, I had to cringe up a little bit. But he's good now. He can mow it. He's figured out a safe way to do it, and he can get a good cut on it. So Jake and I were working on that. Now, the reason I'm mentioning Jake is he's got an update on his channel from this week of that project lawn. And he shows you what he did, and what I did a little bit of it, but he did most of it. But basically what happened was after we applied the Milorganite, and he went back a few weeks later with all the rain and everything, and the slow releasing of the Milorganite had washed into holes, low spots. It had washed down actually where they had dug some gutters or downspouts under the ground to take roof water away, which is a good thing. Those had sunk a little bit, and the Milorganite had settled into some of those trenches, I guess you would say. And so what you had was this splotchy lawn, and Jake shows pictures of it on his channel, and you can actually see where the Milorganite washed down the hill and away and uneven. So the strategy from there was, all right, well, then what you're going to have to do is treat the slopes with liquids. And he started using the 1801 Green Punch. The reason that you treat the slopes with liquid is because liquid is the smallest particle you can get. So it absorbs pretty much immediately. And in fact, if you apply 1801 Green Punch with a hose and sprayer, that's counted as watering in. You'll get some foliar absorption, which is obviously good, but it's pretty much there. It's in the soil. It's on the soil. Maybe a little misting to get it down, but it's not going to wash away from that point. And you can see the results that Jake got when he shows you how the lawn looks now. It's evened out almost completely. And this is a 17-year-old kid out there just spraying and praying, and he actually solved that problem. So the question being, Yes, granulars can wash away. They can wash down. For sure they can. We're going to give an update on Leonard from Peoria here in the end because he's the guy that called in about Milorganite splotches a couple weeks ago. I've been talking to Lenny. We got some updates there for you guys as well. But the long and the short of it is, Brian, I would recommend that for the sloped areas, you go ahead and switch to liquids, whatever that means for you, because liquids are going to work a lot better. They're not going to wash around or wash away. Now, can things wash out of the soil, he also asked, because I'm mainly talking about granulars that'll wash over the top. Now, anytime there's water that is saturating in, through, or moving through soil, for sure it's going to take things out. It's also going to bring things in. But for sure, anytime water is moving through soil, it's going to have an effect on it. Now, does it have an effect greater on a slope? Probably. But slopes have other challenges in that they get beaten with the sun differently. Roots have to grow differently in a slope, so they kind of hold the slope differently. And really, it's the soil that's holding the plant in. It's not the other way around. But all of these things kind of work against it. So for sure, what you would want to do next is if you do have a situation where you have downspouts that are contributing to flow across the hill, you want to get rid of that. You want to dig those downspouts in and under and out. You don't want to have any extra water flowing over that hill if you can help it. So those are the two tips that I would give you there as far as the way fertilizing goes, is switch to liquids and reduce whatever water flow across the hill that you can. Now, the second piece then would be, what am I going to do to seed on the slope? And you have a couple different choices. Now, if you can sod it, I think sod is a good idea. Tack it in, but I don't know if necessarily know you mentioned seeding. And I think seeding is probably going to be a more economical type deal. So you're going to have to go and get erosion mats. That's just what you're going to need to do, and that's what I recommend. Now, you could try hydroseeding. Hydroseeding will stick, and maybe you even want to try both hydroseed and erosion mats. But I would definitely recommend that you go to your local landscape supply. This isn't going to be a Home Depot type project. Go to your local landscape supply that supplies landscapers in your area and ask them for, and I'm going to use the word here, professional erosion mats. I don't know what that exactly means, but you want to get something that professionals are using, because I see them seeding the sides of slopes all the time, the sides of the highway here, the sides of on-ramps and off-ramps with these giant erosion mats. And those work very well, and those areas are not watered. They're not, but those work well. That's what you're going to want to do. I would check out definitely hydroseeding, and I would check out erosion mats. And whatever you can do to get that seed to stick in there. I also would not kill off the weeds. I'd cut them a little bit shorter, but I would not kill them off, because you're going to want those weeds that are in there when you seed in the fall to help hold things in as well. So erosion mats are what you're going to have to go with. If you can't sod it, erosion mats, hydroseeding, look into those types of things. And that should help you when you do your seed in the fall time to keep the seed from washing away. And then from there, that's when you can go into the fertilizing. And I recommend the fertilizing be done with liquids, and then, of course, do what you can with the mowing. So again, Brian, congratulations on that house out there. Let me know how things go. And as always, for you, brother, we're going to be hoping for the best. By the way, I did want to mention, if you're looking for someone else that's also been taking care of grass on a slope, check out Ben the Lawn Guardian's channel. He's got a fairly decent slope in his backyard. It's one that I wouldn't want to have to deal with. And his backyard is double dark and really green. Now, I think he uses granular, but he's got a lot of turf back there, and the turf itself can hold the granular in place. He also does use some liquids and a lot of other things, but I'm just saying, if you're looking for a YouTube channel of somebody that deals with a slope, go check out Ben the Lawn Guardian and check out his different videos that he does in his backyard.